Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends, and another special feeding episode. This time we're going to be feeding a dark little fella that I picked up at a recent event. Don't even remember which one, because he's been waiting very patiently. And this is Krugbo. And he's got his eye on you. He's also got a whole bunch of open ruin slots, which is really good. I hope he's good and worthy of this freedom, shall we say. So anyway, we're going to find a home for him. I guess he's going to go over there. We have a space issue, by the way. Trying my best to work on that. Okay, his dental bills are going to be very expensive. Yes, they are. All right, so let's check out this little guy. There he is. Okay, this is Vanapagan. No, it's not Vanapagan. We'll find something nice for him. All right, there he is, with lots of teeth and a big old eye. This is Krugbo, and Krugbo, I guess. And he's a legendary. He's darkness. Okay, he's got this one here. He's immune to possession, nightmares, and bleeding. Very, very useful. His power is not too bad at all. Life is a little bit above average. Not so bad. Speed's pretty good, too. He's got good stats, actually. But the power is definitely number one, so I'm guessing he's some sort of a damage dealer. But he does have good speed, too. He's not getting a buff, too, so the stamina is the same. So this is actually real. All right, this could be good. This could be good. Let's check out some skills. Enriched Bite, low physical damage. And then we have Eerie Dreams. Whoa, this is interesting. Deals moderate dark damage, 50% chance of giving nightmares to a target. That's very interesting. I've never seen that in an initial skill. Never seen that initial skill. All right, so, and then, of course, we have his special skill, Teeth Storm. Deals massive dark damage to all enemies. May give nightmares and bleed to all targets. That's pretty good. Good damage. Nightmares isn't one of my favorite things, but you know what? Bleeding is, and you put the two of them together, and that's going to be pretty good. That's going to be pretty good indeed. Lots of damage for our enemies. When Krugbo bites an enemy, its teeth infect the target, leaving it disorientated and possessed. In case you're looking at him and wondering, the answer is yes. That is true for each and every one of his mouths. Okay, for the moment we only see one, but we do know he's going to get more. All right, so disorientate is like dazing, perhaps? Possessed? Well, we know what possession is. Is he going to be doing possession? Okay, I have no problem with that. But I want him to do damage, too. With that power, I want him doing damage. But most of all, we have to get him out of this little... Okay, yeah, he seems to be having some problems there. So why don't we just get him up to his teen years here? Okay, the eye is still there. It seems to be, I don't know, is he eating his eye? Okay. It's well protected, I suppose. All right, so he's got mouths all over the place here. Yes, he does. All right, so let's start with the skills, and they start at level 7. Enriched Fascination. Deals moderate dark damage. May possess target. Wow, they didn't waste any time, did they? Just no 50% or anything. Just go with the may. All right, I can dig it. I can dig it. All right, let's continue to level 10. A short trip. Unearthly Hit. Deals moderate special damage. Requires cooldown. All right, so we're going to take that, obviously. Interesting, the only zero cooldown he hits has so far is this one. Because even the first one he got had a cooldown. Interesting. I hope he's not going to have like a whole bunch of high cooldown stuff. Just give me something that I can use in an emergency, All right, let's continue to level 15 and another skill. One more. Minor Sanity Check. Deals moderate dark damage, 50% chance of giving nightmares to target. Well, it's probably better than that. I mean, they're both 50% chance of nightmares, but it is a little more damage, That's kind of a step down after those that first one there, you know what I mean? So let's continue to level 20. Sanity check. Deals moderate special damage to all enemies. May give nightmares to all targets. I'm thinking of putting it there. Okay, this one is a 2-round. Obviously, I'm not keeping any of these guys. But I'm going to throw it there for now because I have to believe that he's going to have something for that first spot. But I could possibly see maybe keeping this. I don't know. It really depends. I have to see what else he has. I just don't like putting anything in that first spot unless it's the big one. I always like to leave it open. Because then when if I put something there, I may actually want to keep, and then it could be a problem. That's the reason I always leave that first spot open. Alright, so let's get him to his final evolution. Enriched Stamina. Gains 100% stamina and an extra turn. That's hard to say no to, isn't it? I mean, I'm not getting rid of that. For the moment, I'm going to put it in there. Okay, there he is. His final form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I see 8 mouths. 8 is enough. Alright, let's continue. More skills needed here. Level 30. Unstoppable Ritual. Deals very heavy dark damage, gives immunity to freeze to itself. I mean, it's good damage. It's dark damage. Got a long cooldown. Is immunity to freeze really something that's worth a skill? Alright, look, right here we have moderate dark damage. Yes, less damage. Lower cooldown, but it possesses. So I'm not getting rid of that. This one I probably could get rid of. It's just that I just don't see it. You know what? I'm going to put this up here just so it doesn't come back, frankly. Because I just don't see keeping that one at this point. Because, I mean, you know, immunity to freeze is very situational. And even though it's a good hit, it's a 3-round cooldown. I just can't see using that one. Unless I completely misread his coming skills, I just can't see using that one. Alright, let's continue to level 35 and see what else we have. Enriched Possession may possess target for 2 turns. That's a 70 stamina, but he actually has a skill that can deal with that. I think we have to lose this one. Alright, this is a 2-round possession. 2-round possessions are very, very useful. Very, very useful. And of course he has this Enriched Stamina right here, which just gives him the whole thing back and then gives him an extra turn. So it's kind of usable. Alright, let's continue to level 40. Still trying to figure out his stuff. Outer Impact. Deals insane special damage, requires cool. That's a 3-round cooldown. Okay, well, you know what? It does more damage than this one, and I'm not really too hooked onto the freeze, you know, the immunity to freeze. So I'm just going to grab that one and put it there for now. Watch the other one come back. You just watch it. It's going to come right back, isn't it? Alright, and level 45. We're getting near the end here. Unstoppable Ritual. That's exactly what I told you it was going to come right back, didn't I? Told you it was going to come back. Alright, let's continue to level 50. Great Sanity Check. Deals moderate dark damage to all enemies. May give nightmares to all targets. That one is really good damage. I'm thinking I lose this one. Yes, this other one does a lot more damage, but in one enemy. So I'm going to take this one. I may end up changing my mind, but I think for now, I think that's it. Unless something else pops up. And frankly, I'd be very surprised if something new popped up. I think we have our final skills. Level 55. Yeah, Unstoppable Ritual. We've seen that. Good damage. This freeze protection just does not seem to be worth it. It just doesn't have enough. Okay, he seemed to be upset about that. It just doesn't seem to have the kind of functionality that would be good for him. My opinion. Alright, last one. Level 60. Sanity Check. Right, that was the early one. It was a lesser version of the one we got. Even though this one was special damage, I would have preferred that Great Sanity Check have been special damage as well, because he doesn't have a special damage attack. You know, I wish that one was special damage, but it isn't, so there's nothing I can do about that. All right, a quick check here. All right, that's the one that I said no to. Yeah, I know, that's special damage, but it just doesn't have anything extra there, you know? This doesn't have the extra thing there. Freeze protection and the sanity check and the minor sanity check. All right, so there we go. All right, let's go back over here. Okay, his power is pretty good. His speed isn't too bad at all. His life is a little above normal, which isn't so bad. It helps with the trait he has, which he's not going to be bleeding or anything like that. What was the other one? Nightmares. Nightmares don't work on him. Possession doesn't work on him. He, of course, uses possession. So anyway, he's kind of interesting. For the high power, I was kind of expecting a little bit more in terms of damage, although he does have some damaging attacks. But I think I just kind of lean towards possession because it is very useful, especially a 2-round possession, and the ability to refill his stamina and then just have an extra turn is really kind of useful, especially because you have to look at his skills as being reduced by 1 turn because of that. So anyway, we'll talk about this while we're looking at the skills. Anyway, his first skill, and these are the skills that I chose. There were other options. This is Great Sanity Check. Deals moderate dark damage to all enemies. May give nightmares to all targets. All right, now nightmares isn't my favorite dot. It's actually the least of the dots if my memory is correct. And the thing is, this one it says moderate, but it's really high moderate. Basically, it's almost high damage. It really depends on what the gauge says, but it looks like almost high damage, so it's definitely worth taking. But of course, there was a single target really heavy hit, and a lot of his other stuff, this isn't really only his group thing. This is the only group one he has. That's kind of the reason I went with it. And, you know, nightmares can be useful, especially if the targets do have a lot of health, because it takes any of the dots, they take a percentage off. All right, so in this one, we have this one now. Enriched Stamina. Gains 100% stamina and an extra turn. So obviously that's something you use later in a fight. What this is, if you're like using your stamina, or for instance, if your cooldowns are you can't use anything, well, you use this, you get your stamina back, and because it's an extra turn, all your stamina, your cooldowns, I should say, go down by 1, which can be kind of useful here. This first one is 3-round cooldown. This one is a 2-round cooldown. This one here is a 4-round cooldown, and that one has 70 stamina. We're going to get back to that one. But this is just too useful not to have. It's just too useful not to have. So, all right, now we're going on to Enriched Fascination. This is one I got pretty early, but actually, was this his first skill? This might have been the first skill that I got, and it was really, really powerful for a first skill, especially. Enriched Fascination. Deals moderate dark damage, may possess target, 2-round cooldown. So I was very surprised this wasn't like a 50% possession, but this is really good. Now, possession is very powerful, assuming that your target can actually be possessed and doesn't resist it. But this is actually very useful, and it's a 2-round cooldown, which is not bad at all, especially with this one, which can turn it into a 1-round cooldown. So this is a really good skill, and I didn't see any reason to trade it out for anything else. It's just, damage is really good, but possession is just amazing because not only are your guys not going to be attacked, your enemy is going to be acting against his own team or just himself. So that's just too good not to have. And then the final one we have here is Enriched Possession. This, of course, is a super version. Now, it doesn't do any damage, but what it does do is it possesses for 2 turns. So you use this, and your target for 2 turns is going to be working for you against his own better interest, which is always a good thing. Now, the cost of this one is a very high cooldown and a very high stamina cost, because after all, it is pretty powerful, just saying. But the thing about it is that this one makes it palatable. So you can use this one and then basically come back here and get your stamina back and get a turn reduction. So the 4-round cooldown is a little easier to deal with. So anyway, this guy is not too bad at all. I would like to have seen him have maybe something a little bit better than Nightmares. I mean, something, even I think Days or something would have been better. Just, it just doesn't really help deter the other team. Now, obviously, the possession does, but he can only do 1 target at a time. but he can actually have two of them possessed at the same time. If he does the 2-round possession, and the next round, if he's still up, do the 1-round possession, well, that turn, the 2 guys are going to be working for you. So, and of course, the protection for him of being immune to all forms of possession is very, very useful as well. So you can have certain war combinations that are really heavy on possession. Well, he can step into that role and be immune to it, which is very, very useful. So anyway, this is Krugbo. He's kind of useful. Do want to test with him a little bit to see how it works out. But yeah, he's not too bad. Okay, and of course, runes, which are really good for me, of course. Obviously, you want to take advantage of his power, and especially with that first attack. The thing about it is that I kind of didn't take his really big damage attacks, did I? So this one's moderate, but it's high. This one's moderate, but it's high. And the other 2 don't do damage at all. So given the combination that I used, speed, oh, that's really interesting. You probably want 1 damage on him to take advantage of, his power, I should say. Speed, you might want to throw speed on. You got to have a speed on him, too. The last one, that's a good question. I mean, would you want to put stamina on him? I don't think there's a reason for that. I mean, think of it this way. If you put the stamina on him, if you put a big old stamina on him, then maybe you don't need that extra skill. Maybe you can go with one of the single target damages one. I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it really depends on what you want to do with him. Me, myself, I would put a damage, a speed. I might throw a life on him to take advantage of his little above life there, just so that he can stay in there longer. I mean, I don't really see... Speed could be useful because he could possess quicker, and he might be able to get his attacks off faster. It's just not in terms of you want him to attack as soon as possible because he's going to control things. He's not going to be primary denial. He's going to be an assist. He's going to be in there doing damage. He's going to be doing damage. He's going to be assisting in control, that kind of thing. So he doesn't really have to have 2 speeds. You might want to throw a support speed on him, though. That's what you could do. Actually, that's probably a good idea. You put a damage on him, a single target speed, and then put a support speed. That's kind of probably the way I would play him. But then again, that's just the way I would end up using him. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. So, this is Krugbo. He's pretty good. I definitely want to test with him in the future, and we'll see how that works out. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games because games are fun. See ya.